The day I arrived in Melbourne, the adventure still seemed full of promise. The capital of Victoria is reputed to be one of the best cities in the world to live in. I had a rendezvous in Chinatown with my future instructor, Rob Torelli. A local celebrity, Rob is 7 times Australian freediving spearfishing champion. However, when he's not training, Rob spends his time fishing abalones, a kind of sea snail, a seafood that is both scarce and expensive.
So they'll be around $150?
$150 for that one. The dish of the thing, it really is.
Oh, so nicely presented. A little bit like a squid, a little bit like a scallop. It really is unique, yes. We're headed for Port Fairy, 150 miles west of Melbourne, where Rob's boat is anchored. The champion agreed to teach me the basics of his profession and to let me train with him and discover the ocean beds. This was the real purpose of my trip, to explore one of the world's most unique ocean beds, situated where the Indian and Pacific Oceans meet. But when I met Rob, I quickly understood just what I was letting myself in for.
This weight belt's specifically designed to help me protect it from the sharks, because the weight is there protecting my vital organs around my chest.
Okay. It's captivating.
Just put down here. Now, if the shark does bite me, his teeth's going to go in. Feel this?
Oh, yes, I've hurt myself.
He's not going to get through there,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
He'll still maybe get here,
Yes.
but he'll bite, and they like soft things, like a seal,
Okay.
or, you know, they don't like the lead.
Okay. Okay. So.
Okay, there, like that. No.
No.
Stop.
Okay, I think that you should learn a few words of French, because if I'm in danger, you know, with the I think I will say au secours in French.
And what does that mean?
Help.
I think I'll know. If you need help, I will know. I'll just come forward a little bit, okay?
I travelled nearly 10,000 miles to dive with one of the best divers in the world, so I wasn't going to give up now. But firstly, I learned that abalone fishing is strictly controlled.
Part of my conditions is I have to ring the fisheries and let them know I'm diving today, okay?
Okay. Now, so right now.
Yeah, I've got to ring them.
Okay. Ça rigole pas.
G'day, Bill. It's Rob Torelli here. How are you? I'm just reporting in. We're going to head out to Lady Julia Percy Island today, fishing for abalone on my boat, Regio Y7Z. Thank you. Bye.
Lady Julia Percy Island is a protected island, as it has the largest colony of sea lions in Australia.
Before I start work, when I come to the island each day, I like to just have a little drive along and just get a feel for the place.
Okay.
If all the seals are in the water and happy, then I am happy.
Okay.
If the seals are on the rocks, then I wonder.
Okay.
I came to Australia to learn to fish for one of the world's most expensive seafoods. And in the end, I find myself being potential bait for sharks, including the great white. And moreover, the seafood in question is ugly, really ugly.
You know, whilst they're young, their parents are quite protective of them. So if you may have an encounter with a really big bull seal. The big male is called the bull seal.
Okay.
They like to show you, if you're getting too close to the young ones, they'll come in and bark at you. It can be over 2 meters long and 200 kilograms.
Okay.
Like there's a big one up the top here now. King of the castle. So Sabine,
Yes.
you're not taking abalone equipment, you're just observation at the moment, is that
Yes,
right?
of course.
Yeah.
Because it's a commercial fishing, and I have only my recreational license, so I'm not allowed to help you.
The fisheries have been good to give us permission to have a film crew to come down and observe me at work, but strictly you're not to take any abalone, okay? That's just my job.
First impression, first shock. Beneath the surface, the view is as beautiful as terrifying. Surprisingly agile, despite of his size, Rob has disappeared into the thick of a forest of kelp. I've stayed behind, not knowing whether the sea lions want to play or just keep me away from their young. And as ignorance fuels fear, I was afraid. I finally spotted Rob's lifeline, the long pipe that supplies air from the surface and allows him to work for several hours without stopping. Alone at the bottom, unlike the world of conventional diving. Back on the boat, it's the first thing that I say to him. What a crazy job! It's mad! From the security angle, I can't understand how we can see the sharks coming.
Well, as I said, Sabine, when I'm head down, working, I feel okay because the shark won't come into the grass and into the rocks to eat me. But when I'm coming up, it's a little bit different story. That's when we must be on alert. But I do feel comfortable working in here, and when the seals are around, it's good. We do dive alone. Occasionally we'll dive two licensed divers, but to have someone, a stranger or someone like a friend come along like you, it is strictly forbidden. So when we're doing...
Why is it forbidden?
It's to do with the control. It's one license, one diver. They don't want other people helping. The fishery's like black or white. Okay. If there's a second diver in the water, is he helping catch the fish? Is he there? So if you want to be an abalone diver, you must dive solo. You must get used to diving by yourself.
I have neither Rob's strength nor his lung power, so I surfaced before him. A very unpleasant moment. Alone with the fear of being caught in open water by one or more sharks. I was eager to return to Nob, the boat's pilot.
Rob's a good diver, he's the best.
Why the best?
He doesn't seem to care about too much, like sharks and that don't worry him, so he just, yeah, he's I don't know, he's pretty easygoing. Sharks don't bother him.
So you're confident with him?
Yeah. He's got to be confident with me too, though, because I'm up here and he's down there. So, yeah, he's got to trust me to look after him, because he's down there all day, you see, so, yeah.
I still insist that it's not very appetizing. So here they are, what are known as sea ears, with their pretty shell riddled with small holes. They're called sea ears because their shape is a bit like an ear. The fishing license imposes minimum sizes and harvest quotas. On that day, Rob was allowed to collect 176 pounds, and not a pound more, to preserve the stocks, but not one less either. The license costs a fortune, although the employer should recover his investment.
You have them all the 80 kilos?
No, yet. More work. You know, you must be prepared to work hard, because we get small windows of opportunity with the weather, and then you get 4 or 5 days in a row, you're doing, you know, 10, 12-hour days, long days on the boat. It's hard work, but it's good work. I love it.
You love it.
He loves it. He loves the job.
Well, it's probably all been work, but maybe not so much up that way.
We'll give it a try. From a little boy, I was always interested in abalone. I was interested in diving, and the only job I've ever had from when I left school was an underwater fisherman.
On the windy coast, those most exposed to ocean waves, Rob has no competition. Here, the abalones are abundant, and he's completed his harvest in less than an hour. Back on dry land, the cargo is checked again. Measured twice, underwater and on the boat, the abalones are carefully weighed in the truck that takes them to the packing plant.
It has to be all very precise.
Yeah, very
all
precise.
The information, all the data, everything.
Zero tolerance. It has to be 100% right to the gram. They want it like, has to be spot on.
No question of neglecting the Australian Maritime Safety Authority telephone recording report. The slightest mistake and Rob would lose his job.
I would like to buy a fishing license for Abalones, please.
Yes, sure.
How much is yours?
Well, I don't own it, but my boss owns the licence, and it's valued, before it was valued at over $5 million for one licence, but now the quota has gone down. It's cheaper. It's over about $1 million now.
Oh, $1 million.
Let's go. So today the planning has changed. I'm going fishing with my own license, with my recreational license. So I'm not allowed to board a commercial vessel, hence the change in the boat to a non-commercial boat.
Go, give it a go.
Yes.
Your turn now, Sabine.
Yes. And can I stay very close to you?
You can, for sure, but you've got nothing too much to worry about. The visibility looks okay, so we'll be diving 10 to 15 metres of water. It is open water, but we'll stay side by side, and I will hopefully point the abalone out to you, because the green lip, they look like little rocks on the bottom, and you can swim over them. Even as an experienced ab diver, I swim over them sometimes, and then I go back the other way. And how did I not see this?
You go first or I go first?
You go first. You're in a good position.
Focusing on the security, terrorized by unseen sharks, until now I hadn't realized the difficulty of the task. The abalone doesn't simply hide well, it's also tough. You have to surprise it. If it detects any aggression, the mollusk clings to the rock with his muscular foot. The work must be fast and accurate. You shouldn't harm it either, because the abalone is hemophiliac. My fishing license allows me to collect 5 abalones per day. Black lips and green lips, the two most sought-after varieties worldwide. I never imagined successfully distinguishing between them underwater. However, my catch mustn't include more than 2 green lips, the most renowned variety for its taste.
The size limit for both is 130. In this area, they both have to be 130 mil. But it's very, very important not to take any undersize, and if they are undersized, that can happen, put them back on the rock.
Finally, it is absolutely forbidden to sell my catch. All these measures are intended to allow stocks to recover from the overfishing of the 70s and 80s. In Australia, the resource is also threatened by a deadly virus that appeared in 2006. It is for these reasons that the fishing quotas have been revised downwards. It took me 50 minutes to catch 5 certified abalones, a catch of roughly 9 pounds, far from the dozens of pounds that Rob collects on every dive. Rob urged me to check the size of my catches both underwater and on the boat, with all good reason.
Hello, how are you going today?
Hello.
Hello, my name's Cameron, Billy and Emily.
Hi.
We're with,
Hi.
we're with
Sabine.
Fisheries. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
We're just doing some recreational abalone inspections today. So first things first, we'd like to check your catch.
Okay.
We'll check your catch for sizes today.
Here?
Here's fine. Yep, no problem at
Yeah.
all. Thank you. Alright, so these got to be 13 centimetres, 130 mil. Alright, so. Now, the next thing we'll ask you about is the recreational fishing licence. Do you have a licence? Ah, right. Very good.
You make a lot of control like this one?
Yeah, look, we're pretty strict on the abalone around here. Yeah.
It's
We're,
zero tolerance.
Yeah, well,
Like
zero
that.
tolerance.
Yes. And
Yeah.
poaching, is it an important phenomenon?
Yeah,
Or-
look, there's a bit of poaching goes on. Yeah, they're a pretty valuable, high value species. So with any high value species, there's a bit of illegal activity involved with it, I suppose. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks for that.
The last test to face up to, Rob always believed that my initiation would be incomplete as long as I still had a phobia of sharks.
For the divers, yes?
To convince me that you can survive an unpleasant first encounter, he introduced me to former diver Bob Usher with his 40-year career.
Or maybe I can learn from you what I have to do if I see one.
Yep. Well, I was coming to the surface. I was about in about 60 foot of water, and in about 30 foot up.
Right.
This big white comes straight at me.
Yes?
And I put the bag of abs in front of me like that, and he took the bag, and as he turned, he whacked me with his tail and set me about 30 foot through the water. And I went straight back to the bottom, found a cave, curled up in the cave, and the big bug come straight back in again and watched me for about half an hour. And I said, please, compressor, don't stop.
Half an hour?
Yeah, he was sitting there just watching me.
He's toughed it out. 40 years in an industry like that, you're going to see sharks. That's the thing.
That's right.
We do see sharks, but it's not a real regular occurrence. We see a lot of 7-gill sharks, but the white shark is not a regular occurrence. It's an occupational hazard. You have to expect one day you are going to encounter them.
Yeah.
Back to Lady Julia Percy Island, where sharks have been reported. I cannot continue on my way without having discovering all the aspects of Rob's job.
I'm here to fight against my fear of sharks.
Okay. Well, you've got a good scene here because the water's clear and you should feel comfortable. You've got some experienced divers with you, and if we see a shark, you'll enjoy it. It'll be great fun. The dangerous, vulnerable time is when we're in the middle of the water and there's no protection for us. So we need to just, be careful and conscious of that. If we do see the white shark, hug the bottom, stay low like a stingray, and then we'll work our way up the cliff and we'll get out.
There's that little knot in my stomach, which is coming back again. Strangely enough, perhaps due to the sunlight on the ocean bed, I have less fear than on previous dives. And no time to think, we are greeted by stingrays. Impressive. They belong to the shark family. Rob advised me to stay wary of their scorpion-like sting at the end of their tails. But in fact, their behavior reassures me. They have absolutely no interest in us. At this point, I say to myself that I just have to concentrate and follow all Rob's instructions.
The 7-gill shark, they will be very curious, Sabine. They will come in close to you and check you out. They don't have hands, so they feel with the nose. So when he does come in, he might come in and want to nudge you, hit you a little bit. But this is not a threatening sort of behaviour. This is just them checking you out. So you can expect them to come in close.
What I realized only afterwards was the apprehension Rob felt at the idea of having to ensure my safety.
When there's more than one shark around, that's when there's a danger. Now, in this particular instance, there were 3 or 4 sharks in close proximity, and they were like competing, coming in. And at that stage, I didn't like what was going on. I just give it a bit of a poke, said, out of here, we need a bit of space here. And that was the potential danger for Sabine. It was never going to eat her, but it might have bitten her, or if she had her elbow out or something, it might have come and given her a bite. That one time there when the shark came in, it was moving differently than the other times. It was faster, and I thought, I just don't like the look of this one. I poked it with the spear gun to get it away, and it came around the back of Sabine's head and near the tank valve and started biting at it. She didn't realise what was happening. So that was the closest she had of being maybe bitten.
I just found a blow behind the head. Rob had warned me, and so I wasn't worried. Nevertheless, I still found the situation tense. In front of me, the film crew was faced with two sharks attracted by the camera. These animals have a sixth sense thanks to the Lorenzini organ, which enables them to detect electromagnetic waves. But I trusted Rob and felt very calm.
When I saw Sabine doing a little dance underwater, I think she was just on a high, you know. You get like that when you see the sharks and you're out in the open water and all the big sharks coming around, you're on a natural high. If you want to be an abalone diver in my area, you must fish Julia Percy. You can't say, I want to be an abalone diver, but I don't want to dive there. So I'm proud that she's overcame that fear and she has achieved what she set out to do. She's reached the goal. She knows what it's like to be an abalone diver.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you. Yes, you were right. You were right, I had fun. Five sharks.
5?
Yes, 5. At least 5 all around us.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, Sabine, you passed the test. I think you could be an abalone diver. If you can dive with sharks around you like that,
Yes.
you could be an abalone diver. When you learn the animal's behaviour, you know that the ray's just there, he's not going to flick you with the tail, you know the seal's just there playing, you know the shark's just coming in to check you out. Once they've checked you out the first time, they know who you are, and then you go back to work.
And then you go back to work. So this is your office?
It's the best office in the world for sure.
Yes.
It's the sea is my life, and I enjoy every day on the water. You know, a day on the water is better than a day on land, or, you know, it's all I know and it's what I love.
However, the danger is real. 2 days after leaving Rob, the abalone fisherman Peter Clarkson was killed by 2 white sharks in Coffin Bay, 200 kilometers west of Port Fairy. The southern winter was slowly setting in. Air and sea temperatures would soon fall. But no question of leaving Australia without a visit to Melbourne Bay to try and observe a phenomenon that is unique in the world. It's along the Great Ocean Road, renowned as one of the most beautiful in the world, that I began the second part of my trip to Australia. You're filming, right?
Yes.
The Australian wildlife is rich in species that live nowhere else on Earth. It's hard not to stop and enjoy the show. However, I had to hurry to catch the ferry to reach the Mornington Peninsula. It's there, opposite Melbourne, that massive gatherings of giant sea spiders have been reported this season. Apparently, thousands of them leave the depths of the ocean to take refuge in the bay, sheltered from the sea swell. I want to see them and understand why they come here, but I will need a serious helping hand. Most of my information I got from a book about the phenomenon. I started on the trail of its author, and soon I discovered that he works at the Melbourne Aquarium.
Hello, John speaking.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I'm here.
There is little information about gatherings of giant sea spiders, a behavior that was observed for the first time in 2005. And there are few scientists that are interested in it. John Gaskell is one of them. Young marine biologist, he is an excellent diver. His mission, to capture specimens for aquarium collections, or on the contrary, to set them free to help preserve the species. Upon my arrival on the Mornington Peninsula, I have an appointment with him at Portsea Village Dock.
John? Ouh, qu'est-ce que c'est lui? John Gaskell?
Sabine!
Hi.
Well, I'd say it's a perfect day for it.
Yes?
So I think, we've got the good chance.
Yes.
Very good chance.
But actually, I do worry because it's very, very huge bay.
It is a huge bay,
Yes.
so we're going to have to do a bit of looking, I think.
Yes.
We should be right. I think
Okay.
we'll be able to find something. All right, this is Blair Gowrie Marina.
Yes.
This is it, nice and calm. It's one of the best places to go diving around the year because it's protected from nearly all wind.
Yes.
So this is one of the hot spots for diving.
Okay.
Lots of sponges and nudibranchs
Okay, and
under
the
the
spider
pier.
crabs
The
should be
spider crabs should be
around.
right here,
Yes.
I hope. So we're going to jump in here and have a look, I think.
Okay, let's have a look.
The least you can say is that visibility is not very good. However, we must look for clues on the sandy bottom that thousands of sea spiders may have left in their wake. The smallest living organism is any excuse to break the monotony of the scenery.
May I ask you something?
Yeah.
How do they know, by the crabs, that it's time to reach the meeting point?
It's just one of those things. Most animals use temperature cues or the lunar cycle. So a lot of animals will, depending on the time of the year, they'll be able to tell from the full moon or where the moon rotates around the Earth as to where and what time to go places. With the crabs, it's probably temperature though.
Okay. But how do they know where they have to go?
That's, I don't know, no
That's the
idea.
mystery.
That's something that I always think about.
Okay.
No idea. They just, I guess it's instinctive.
Yes.
Do they know?
They come from anywhere in the bay.
Yeah, well, they live out of the bay. A lot of them
And
live out of the
some out
bay
of
and
the
they
bay?
come in. A lot of them live in the middle of the bay and they all come to the same area. And no one has
We don't
ever
know
proved
why.
that they can communicate
Yeah.
long distances, which
Yeah.
is very unlikely.
After half a day underwater, only one isolated individual, but no sign of the gathering. Well, we're approaching our goal, right? Not yet, but we're getting near. If I had seen something else other than sand, I forgot that I was cold. But now I haven't forgotten. John is embarrassed he had only one day for me. Before leaving, he confirmed to me that Mark Norman, another specialist that I had also contacted from Paris, should be able to help me.
Well, good luck.
Thank
Sabine,
you.
we'll
And-
see you soon.
Yes, and if I see something, I call you, okay?
Yes, and I'll come down and have a look.
Okay.
Thanks. No worries. Good luck tomorrow.
Be careful on the road, huh?
Ah, thanks.
I found myself left to my own devices for 48 hours, the time for
you are
Mark
right.
Norman to come back from abroad.
We're lucky.
No time to lose. With Tom, my boat pilot, who knows the area well, I decided to mark out part of the bay thanks to fresh information I dug up on the internet.
Saying they had seen spider crabs between Blair Gowrie and Rye.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
So, how many kilometers?
Oh, about 20.
Allez.
20 miles to explore? No problem. Let's go.
Okay.
If the crabs are there, and they are very numerous, we should see a shape at the bottom, since it isn't very deep. So obviously it's a shape that may be confused with rocks or seaweed. At this rate, we're not winning. I think we go to plan B. All right, plan B.
Slow, fast. Well, give me a signal if you want to go faster or slower.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's the signal for help?
Several hours in the water, miles of exploration, but not a single spider crab shell in sight.
Film crew looking for mass aggregation of giant spider crabs. Please call Sabine. Okay.
Still hanging around, waiting for Mark Norman's return, I decided to use every possible strategy so as not to miss the event and end up empty-handed. There we go. The Mornington Peninsula is a focal point for divers from Melbourne. No one here is surprised to come across frogmen walking in the middle of the street. Pulling out all the stops, I try my luck. I then melt into the masses, towards the Rye Dock with a little luck. Who knows, perhaps I'll find what I'm looking for. The wooden pillars that support the pontoons function as artificial reefs. They allow organisms to fix a hold and provide food and shelter for many species. Located on the border between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, the waters of the Melbourne Bay host 90% of the native species. Among them, the emblem of Victoria State, the weedy sea dragon. With the absence of spider crabs, I let myself be entertained by all these strange creatures. In particular, I'm attracted by the unusual dance of the small squids. They contribute largely to the bay's reputation and are experts in camouflage. Definitely a beautiful dive, but still not a single trace of shellfish in sight.
Excuse me, hello. May I ask you something, please? Yeah. Have you heard of giant spider crabs?
Crabs? You want to see some crabs?
Yes, I would like to see them. You know the spider crabs, the giant one? No?
No, here, not this time. We're not to eat.
Okay.
We're not to eat that because there's nothing on.
Not to eat? No.
If you want to eat, you must go to sea. You got a net, you put a net, a little bit chicken.
Yes.
And then you get some.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right,
have a nice day. Thank you.
The locals are not very interested in the phenomenon. Their information is not very reliable. My only hope is Mark Norman. What a hassle, what a mess. I'm back. Glad I found your message. See you at my place tomorrow morning. Mark Norman.
Yes. Hey, oh!
Mark is known for his many discoveries of species of cephalopod mollusks, but he is also one of the few researchers to study the great migration of sea spiders. Every autumn, he spends most of his time underwater filming the molting phenomenon. That precise moment when the crab sheds its exoskeleton so that it can grow bigger. The scientist would do anything to see the phenomenon again. When he learnt that I had reserved Tom's boat for him, he immediately agreed to accompany me on board for the trip.
Hello. Hello, Sabine. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Welcome.
too.
Come on in.
Here we go again, but this time we are fully equipped.
John Con, good to see you.
I'm going to say hello, Sabine. Hi, Sabine.
How are you?
Hello, how are you?
In French. So we are going that way?
Yeah, we're going around the corner and get towards the Blackberry Beach.
Okay. So actually, we don't know a lot about them.
No, it's very new discovery, and I think this is quite common in the sea. When they see animals on land, everybody can watch them all the time, but under the sea, it's a hidden world. We saw really good ones in 2005, and that got us very excited because we were doing lots of diving work at night looking for octopus, and when we went out and discovered these crabs, we've looked for them ever since, and they're always turning up in May or June. And even this year, we're discovering that they're probably here earlier, like March or April, but they're out there in deeper water and they're getting together in these large numbers before they come up into the shallows. So every year you get another piece in the puzzle.
No, but it's strange, no? There are hundreds, maybe thousands of spider crabs somewhere underwater and we can't find them.
We will.
We will.
Yes.
Nothing can dampen Tom's optimism. And yet we are back in an area that we've continually searched. However, we may have passed within a few meters of the gathering without actually seeing it. Underwater, distances take on a different magnitude. So Mark Norman uses a diver propulsion vehicle, which allows him to cover 4 times the distance that he does with diving fins.
Verdict?
They've been here very recently. There's footmarks all over the sand here.
Yeah, very recently.
Everywhere you can see scratch marks of feet. So with 2 divers each going, maybe one going that way and one going out, because I've gone in.
Okay.
And then see if they come across it.
Okay. Well,
I think we'll have to get the film crew involved. This is Jean-Christophe, our lighting engineer, and faithful assistant to Renee, our underwater cameraman. They aren't very far away. Well, yes.
Over there?
There they are.
Or there?
No, over there.
It's the best anti-fog in the world.
It'll bring us luck. Thanks.
Shouldn't you rinse it?
Okay, this time I'll rinse it.
This is for Renee.
Mark has already put this strategy into practice. Divers linked by a 20-yard cord to avoid getting lost follow the shellfish trail together in a line. And this time, Mark was right. Traces left by sea spiders are clearly visible on the sand. Hundreds or even thousands have passed by here. And it is a straggler that confirms the fact that the others are probably not far away. And yes, they're here. I hold my breath on seeing them gradually appear. We've waited so long for this.
Oh, it's just fantastic to be able to watch it in front of your own eyes because in most other crabs it's done hidden under the sand or hidden in rock caves and keeping away from view, whereas this is a very public mass molting.
So as far as we know, it's a unique phenomenon.
Yes. Yes. I don't know anywhere else in the world where you can go and see this happening in shallow waters in such an accessible place. There's a group in the Mediterranean Sea that probably do the same thing, yes, but it's deeper water, so nobody's seen it, whereas we're lucky here. It's only 1 metre deep, yeah, and we can see it. All the crabs come together in one place, and at first we thought it was for breeding, but it's not. It's so they can molt and be safe when they're soft. Okay. When there's so many of them, they can't all be eaten by stingrays or sharks or seals or dolphins. So they're coming together to molt, to lose their skeleton.
and then once they've molted, they'll all move away again.
Good, hey?
Yes, very good.
In fact, it looks like an army of marching crabs that devours everything in its path.
And they eat everything they can find on it.
I know, they were eating everything.
Everything.
They were picking up a shell and then trying to scrape anything out of it. I stopped one and I turned it over and it had this big shell, but there was nothing in the shell, but it was still trying to scrape anything off it.
Yeah, they were everywhere. At one point I heard... I thought it was the crabs, but in fact it was Sabine's teeth chattering. Well, it was worth it, did you see?
We'll leave that till we come back tonight and then we'll be able to find them again. Fantastic.
I want to show you something. We've got some molting footage here. That's a moth I was following. There we go. So this is a time lapse of a molting crab and it just shows how long the process takes. So this is sped up by a photo being taken every sort of 30 seconds, but they become stationary and then the top of the skeleton comes off like a hat and they start coming out underneath. And they have no strength, all their muscles are very weak. The new skeleton is very soft, and so they cannot even hold their own body weight, so they pull out very, very slowly and then gradually pull their soft legs out and then pump themselves up with water. So they're pumping themselves up to be bigger than before.
But I can see here that the new crab is much bigger than the skeleton.
Yeah, so it's surprising. Sometimes the animal might be this size and then the one coming out is like 50, 60% bigger again. So,
and how do they know it's time?
And we think that once they're all together in a group, they all start stimulating the eye tips so that they'll all molt at the same time. And sometimes it can...
It's not a signal to the others.
No, because we've seen it in the pitch black when it's nighttime and dark. We come across them and they're all doing it. So there's something about stimulation of their own molting, and then it'll all happen in like 1 or 2 days. So you'll go from a huge area of live animals, 2 days later, there's not one live animal, it's all empty molts, and they're all gone, they've all left.
Great, we'll be able to go back, see if the group has grown, see how they behave at night. Mark will be able to take all the pictures he needs, and then we'll be able to cool off a little. Because it was a little hot down there. It's phenomenal. There are hundreds. They don't behave like they do during the day. Just now, they were walking. They walked like an army there. They ate and ate. They were all piled up on each other. I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, it's amazing. And when you lie on the sand and let them walk over you, it's like this wave, living wave, and you can hear all the clicking as their legs kind of walk all over you. It's fantastic.
How many are there?
Well, one group we estimated there was about 10 to 20,000 in that one group. So, and that was about the size of a soccer field or a football field, so it was a large area.
That's unbelievable.
Mark, they are going to molt.
But it's weird, isn't it? They just sit there going like this. And...
Where is my eye? Where is it? Oh, my eye. Okay.
That night, the moon was not shining so as to cause a general outbreak of molting. But we must acknowledge that science is not yet so accurate on the subject. This unique phenomenon will keep its share of mystery for a long time to come. It's the end of the trip. The waters of the Southern Ocean gave me what they had the most in terms of a sumptuous cocktail of images, emotions, and encounters, each one more incredible than the other. And yet I know I need to come back, to observe everything that chose not to reveal itself.
Well, they touched you and went, oh,